Okay, so today I am gonna demonstrate how I use some of my brush pens to create different lettering styles in my bullet journal. So I am not claiming to be an expert at this. I have taught myself, and this is just the way that I do things, and this is the way that I find it easy to do it. So I want to share these tips in the hopes that maybe you will have a go and it'll help you experiment and yeah, just have fun with this type of pen for this kind of lettering. So I have got a couple of different kinds of brush pen to try. I've got Zebra Mild Liner, I've got these Sakura Pigma brush pens, the Stabilo pen, 68 brush, what else? Pentel Feud sign pen. I think that's everything. Yeah, these are the ones that I am going to be using to demo some different styles of lettering today. So I'm going to start with this mild liner brush. Now I really like these because they're dual tipped. There is a brush on one end and a fine liner on the other, and they are like lovely pale colours and they're quite translucent, so you can really build up the colour to get some different effects. And I'm going to show you how I usually use them to create effects like that. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit slowly on this page here. So I would say my main tip for using this kind of brush pen is to hold it like kind of horizontal when you are lettering, and that allows you to use like the thickest part of the nib possible, and it allows you to get that really thick line. So you want to be using the edge of the pen and pushing down hard for the thick parts, and using more of the tip of the pen and using light upward strokes to get that thick and thin pull. So I'm going to choose a word. I will just choose the word mild, why not? And we'll letter that. So I'm going to start off with a light upward stroke, heavy downwards. When you get that squeak, that's when you know you've pressed hard enough with these pens. And I'll leave some nice gaps in between for early bits of letters. There we go. I like to add a little heart to my eyes also. So you'll see here that there are a variety of thick and thin lines all made with the same nib. Not too fussed about this bottom line being sort of not straight. I quite like that style. I know some people hate it, but I like it, so I'm going to go with it. You can see that where the pen overlaps, they sort of get darker. So when a pen is like that, it usually means that you can layer it up to sort of build up like a different effect or different colours with the same pen. And I am gonna use this pen to create a sort of ombre effect along the bottom of the letters, and I'm gonna do that by starting here and just sweeping up like this, about 2/3 of the way of the letter. And I could stop there, but I want it to be even darker at the bottom, so just go back and fill this bit in here. And then I'm gonna just sweep up, but not as high. And you'll see I'm just building that colour up and creating this almost like ombre tone effect. Let's go a little bit darker again. Yeah, I love this technique. I use it often. I think it's just super effective. So this is what I would maybe call an ombre like cursive, but you can also use these pens for sort of like a bold capital kind of signwriter script. So I'm just gonna quickly give myself some pencil lines to work within, just so that I kind of keep this as consistent as possible. people always seem to phone me when I'm doing something that involves recording video. So I've got these two little lines here to work within, and let's just write mild again. So I'm going to try and write at a slight like angle to give it a bit of character, and just going to use this edge of the pen here to get this nice thick line. I love this style of text. It reminds me of like the sort of thing that you see on like menu boards and like old like the kind of lettering you see in like grocery stores for like price signage, that kind of thing. Yeah, I love it. And I'm gonna take the colour and sweep it down from the top. And this is really easy when you've done like a capital letter, because you don't really have that much in the way of curves to negotiate. And again, you can just build that colour up so that it is nice and deep, fading down to the lighter part. Alright, okay, so we've got cursive style, we've got like a bold script. Let's change pens now and use a different pen altogether. Let's use the Pentel Feud brush sign pen, and I've got two of these here. I've got a black one and I've got a green one, and I'll show you the difference in line width for these so you can see how thick this pen is, and in comparison this one is just so thin. So I would recommend, if you're doing a large header, a pen like the Mildliner is a good call, but for anything smaller than about 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes high, the Pentel Feud brush pen is a much better choice because it is so small in comparison. Look at the different nib sizes here. Yeah, so pen choice is always important for the size of header or text that you're creating. So again, I can use these for creating cursive letters. Let's just keep writing mild over and over again. I'm going to do this about 2 boxes high. And I find that with the small pen, I personally find it easier to keep the letters straight. I think that's alright. Let's do like a little capitals also. Not perfect, but we're not aiming for perfection, we're just aiming to enjoy ourselves, really. Yeah, so these are the ways that I would use this. Similar in application to this, you're pressing hard down with the downstroke, light up with the light stroke, etc, etc. A lot of people are afraid to press down hard with these as well because they think they're going to break the pen. These pens are designed to be really flexible, so don't worry too much about pressing down too hard with these. So yeah, this is how I would use this style of pen. You'll notice that these headers are a lot smaller than these ones. I'll do a big one as an example as to how doing a header that's too big can actually make the pen difficult to use. And that's why it's important to choose the right size of pen for the header that you want to create. So let's do a big mild. Already I'm like struggling here with keeping the lines straight and all the rest of it. A bit wobbly. Oh, I've run out of room as well. Oh good. Oh good. Yeah. So out of both of them, I mean, I don't hate this one, but I think that like this one is slightly more effective just because the pen has got a thicker nib. It gives you these stronger lines, whereas this one I feel like is a little bit on the like, I don't know, a bit wobbly here, and yeah, I don't think it's as effective at this scale as it is using the pen small. Now I'm going to move on next to the Stabilo brush pen 68. Now these are quite a new addition to the Stabilo family of pens. Pen 68 is like a bullet tipped felt pen that's been around for a long time, but these ones came out maybe 2 years ago now, and they're basically the same ink, the same like barrel shape, but a brush tip. And I would say that this tip is sort of in between this one and this one size wise. So the Stabilo is like medium, this is thick, this is thin. So if you want something in between, I would say the Stabilo is a good shout. The one thing I would say about this is the nib is a lot softer than both of these, and you do need to be a little bit more controlled with how hard you press, and you don't need to press as hard for a thick line. So let's write Stabilo with this. Now these come in like quite bold colours, so I like them for that reason. Those B's took me a long time to learn how to do because it feels like you're doing them all backwards. And these are water-based pens as well. See how bendy that nib is. I think these pens are really quite underrated. They are lovely. The pen colour is really deep. I could always go in and do like a nice ombre effect like this as well, but the way that you press down on the nib does actually give you a little bit of variation of colour. So yeah, if you're looking for a really bold colour of ink, these come in a lot of different colours and a sort of medium sized line, then these are the pen for you. Now the last one that I'm going to show you is the Pigma Micron brush pen. I've got two of these here. They're essentially the same pen, just one of them is like in a limited edition barrel. Oh my goodness, my battery's gonna run out. Let's try and do this really quickly. Okay, so yeah, these are again different in that, oh my goodness, please focus. Please focus, please focus. They're really thin, which makes these hardest to control as well, harder to control also. And let's use this to letter Sakura. So I'm going to use the same technique of light on the upstroke. Ooh, I've spelled this wrong. Let's start again. And heavy on the down stroke. Would say these also have like a little bit of a feathery tip, and they are very soft. So I would say that out of all of the brush pens, these are like the most difficult one to control because the nib is so thin and so flexible. So if you're starting out, I wouldn't recommend starting with this. It's a great pen to move on to, and you get like really nice thick and thins. The other great thing about this pen is that it is waterproof, which means once it's dry you could highlight over this and it won't smudge. The rest of these are not waterproof, so you would get smudging from these. So this pen definitely has its uses. Yeah, so let me just zoom out and hope that my battery's not gonna die. Yeah, so I hope that has been somewhat useful. We sell all of these pens in Nikki's Supply Store, and you're welcome to ask any questions that you have about the different pens and the application that they can be used for. With brush lettering, it is all just practice. So get yourself an old journal, like this one is like my old 2022 journal, so I don't really mind about using the back pages, some scraps of paper, and just practice. You will make mistakes. Even when you feel confident in hand lettering, you will make mistakes. So my advice is practice, practice, practice. Get yourself a selection of pens to try all of the different types of nib and see which one you feel most comfortable with. I hope that's been helpful. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and let me know if there are any other pens that you would like to see me try out. Okay, thanks again folks. I will see you next time.